So originally, I had planned on going over the church's gains in power, as well as how it got so darn corrupted during this era, but for now, I've decided to put that off because we've got some more relevant things to tackle that I almost skipped over. Now, as a refresher, let's go back to the letter that Giovanni gave to us to deliver. At the beginning, he made mention of an incident in Milano dealing with Duke Galeazzo Maria Sforza. Sforza was a very, very brutal guy, to put things lightly. Though he had an appreciation for some of the finer things in life, such as music and what have you, he also relished in, well, what some might call favorite pastimes as torture, abuse, and ordering rather sadistic methods of death for various crimes. I mean, in one instance, it involved him burying a man alive, and in another, there was someone who was caught poaching on the royal grounds, and the poacher was forced to swallow a hare, as in a rabbit, in its entirety. And I said swallow, not simply eat. Yeah, he died, needless to say. And there was also, unfortunately, a lot of talk of him raping women. You know, the wives and daughters of the actual nobility. This definitely put him on more than a few shit lists, as you can imagine. I mean, this guy was a tyrant. He was a terrible, terrible person. Now, as a result, a plan to assassinate Sforza was hatched. The three head conspirators are the ones listed here on the letter: Lampugnani, Oggiati, and Visconti. Each of them had reasons for taking such a heavy risk in this. Giovanni Andrea Lampugnani and his brother had leased a tract of land outside of an abbey, but once the abbot who originally approved of this died, his replacement came in and was quick to evict the Lampugnanis and claim all the valuables on the premises. He went to Sforza, but was met with a rather apathetic display in response. Bearing in mind that Lampugnani was very high up in the government and served rather loyally under Sforza, and he wasn't even given any help on this. The treatment was enough to earn him Lampugnani's wrath. Now, Carlo Visconti, there's not much information on, but his reasoning for this was a bit less materialistic. Thing is, he was out for blood because Sforza raped his sister, and from what I've gathered from a few places, she was very, very messed up mentally and physically afterwards. Girolamo Oggiati is he's the oddity in this because he's the leader of the conspiracy, and he didn't have any vested interest or anything directly against Sforza. The high and low of it is that he was educated by a fella named Cola Montano. This Montano guy was evidently whipped in public by Sforza. Oh yeah, by the way, Sforza, when he liked doing the torture, he liked doing a lot of the groundwork himself. But anyway, Sforza whipped him in public, and this was humiliating enough for Montano to constantly go on rants and soapbox about how much he hated this guy. And eventually, he began creeping into his lectures some talk of assassination, and Oggiati latched right onto this. He was the youngest of the conspirators, being 23 when the killing took place, and there's not much info in regards to when he was taught by Montano, but it sounds like, pardon my language here, but I guess you could say it sounds like he was almost brainwashed in an academic sense. I mean, if Montano got to him, when he was in his late teens and talked about this stuff all the time, he probably could have twisted his mind to some degree. Of course, by this point, Montano had gotten the hell out of Dodge. So, basically, his main reasoning for killing Sforza was something kind of academic and intangible. It was for the good of the Republic, is essentially what he was saying. He had nothing against the guy, but just wanted to kill him almost on principle. Anyways, on to the actual killing. On December 26th, the day after Christmas in 1476, Sforza went to Mass and was approached by Lampugnani. After speaking with him for a few moments, Lampugnani kneeled before Sforza, produced a knife, "Gentlemen, cross your legs," and then he stabbed Sforza in the privates. He then stood up, pulled the knife out, and stabbed him again in the chest, before Sforza was rushed by the other conspirators, as well as a servant of Lampugnani's, who all stabbed him in succession. The conspirators were quick to scatter in the ensuing mayhem, but Lampugnani got caught up on some cloth or carpeting, and he fell only to get caught, dragged into the streets, and lynched. And, as was the fashion in them days, his body was horribly torn apart and hung up as an example. Lampugnani's servant was caught shortly thereafter, and he was quick to name the other two conspirators. The Milano incident was quickly snuffed out, since the killers didn't really plan what to do after they killed the Duke. However, in Assassin's Creed 2, as you can see here, it's indicated that it's tied to something else that Giovanni is on top of. What's it tied to? Well, we'll be getting to that at some point in the future. Welcome back, guys. Last we left off, we had to deliver a letter for Ezio's old man. And right now, we are outside of the Palazzo Auditore. I'm going to pull up the database entry now, and get ready to pause the video if you want to read this stuff. So, Alberti, the architect of the Palazzo Auditore, was very much like Leonardo da Vinci and some others. And in this point of the Renaissance, let's head over here and deliver the letter in the meantime. Anyways, at this point in the Renaissance, you had a number of folks who'd later be referred to as polymaths. It's kind of a fancy word to say that a person was a Renaissance man. And that's to say they had several fields they pursued in life, and they were very skilled in them. Alberti, for example, he self-taught himself how to play instruments, and in spite of that, it said he could stand toe-to-toe with the best musicians of the day. Now, his approach to architecture was kind of modeled after a Roman architect named Vitruvius. Depth perception, how you failed me. Well, let's get back up to the high ground. Anyways, he modeled all of his architecture after Vitruvius, and it made it stand out, and if I'm remembering right, we'll see at least one more of his buildings later on in Florence. Yeah, the streets around here can be a little tricky at times. If you don't hit a jump at a right angle, or if you have your thumb up your ass when you're running around, then, well, you might jump across a really wide road and break your legs in the process. You'll also notice that health does not regenerate. We have to visit the doctors. Imagine that, a modern game without regenerating health. What a world we live in. Well, just taking in the view. So I'm going to be snagging up these viewpoints as I go along to destinations and such. And I called this a haystack last time, but that was a slip of the tongue. I've always thought it was just like a bunch of leaves.
Ah, Ezio, ben trovato. How are you?
Come sempre. I have a letter for Messer Lorenzo.
I'll see that he receives it when he returns.
Returns?
They've gone to Villa Careggi, I'm afraid, and not expected back for at least another day.
I'll let my father know.
Well, this was kind of a pointless little errand. Well, whatever you want to tell Lorenzo is going to have to wait, because it seems he's not around right now. Oh well. Well, all we can really do now is just make our way back and don't screw up the jump. Don't. No. Lucky. So, it's pretty easy in this one, more so for some reason. Well, I can think of a good reason why, but it's a little easier to screw up your free running in this than it was in the previous game. You've got your run button, and then you've got your sprint button, and if you're holding run and sprint, well, that's when you start doing all the crazy stuff where you leap over things, and these chimneys and stuff all over the roofs. Well, if you aren't paying much attention, he can vault right over one, and, well, he'll just send you flying the wrong way.
Keep up the good work.
Bischero.
You worry too much, Giovanni. Francesco Di Pazzi's in prison. The threat is ended.
Hello, son. You remember my friend Uber?
Good morning, Gonfaloniere Alberti.
To you as well, young man.
I trust you delivered the message.
Si, padre. But it seems Lorenzo is out of town.
I did not anticipate this.
What does it matter? So you wait another day or two.
Listen, your mother and sister have been looking for you. I'll need you again in a little while, but for now, see if you can't help them.
Are you sure?
Yes, now if you'll excuse us.
Good to see you, Ezio.
So for now we're left to our vices, and got two missions here. One for the sister and one for the mother. Well, let's meet the rest of the family, I guess. Get ready to pause whenever you see that pop up.
Hey, Claudia. How are you?
Bene.
You shouldn't keep things from me.
It's Duccio.
What of him?
I think he's been unfaithful.
Who told you this?
The other girls. I thought they were my friends.
Harpies. You're better off without them.
I loved him.
No, Claudia. You only thought you did.
He should suffer for what he's done.
Wait here. I'll go have a word with him.
Man, I love how her personality just did a complete 180 there. She had one line saying, "Oh, I love him," the next saying, "Break his legs." But, we can have a viewpoint along the way. We're in no rush, let's do a little bit of sightseeing. Coming up in a bit here, whoop, pardon me. I take the rooftop route here, but I get kind of chased off, you'll see it. Or at least you'll see the transition, and I come back along the streets and I grab a database entry. You'll be seeing it shortly. Oh, where to start? So the full name of this place is the Basilica of St. Mary of Florence. I'll go over it in detail in the history segment. There is a lot to talk about, but the tower to its right, I'll be able to talk about it inside this video. It's just there is a lot of symbolism and artwork and what have you, and I'd have to go all over the place to cover it all. So let's get on the ground floor and take a look at the little tower here, Giotto's Campanile. So in a moment, I get spotted and I double back over this way, and while en route, I accidentally came across a database entry on banks. But hey, let's go climbing. Giotto's Campanile, as mentioned in the notes, has a very different design on the top 3 floors. Most obvious you'll see is the ground level doesn't have windows, while the top 3 do. You'll also notice a bunch of different colorations of marble, and as mentioned in the database entry, that's known as polychrome, and it was something that's been used ever since ancient Greece and such. It refers to the use of different colors of stone in a construction of a sculpture or a building. Unfortunately, this is the tallest structure we're going to see in-game, which kind of bums me out because we're just starting out on this, but oh well. So its base is square in shape. It's about 47.5 feet by 47.5 feet, or 14.5 meters on each side. The height is 278 feet, or 85 meters. Now, I could go on for ages about the symbolism of every little piece on this. I mean, you refer to architecture as artwork. This is, well, there is a lot of stuff. I kind of skipped past it because I couldn't climb off of it, but it was on the ground level and such. Now, you had on the ground floor, you'd have hexagonal tile work of the history of man as told by the Bible. The second story above that had diamond-shaped tiles, and they each represent something different on each side of the building, for each cardinal direction. The planets, theological and cardinal virtues, the 7 liberal arts, the 7 sacraments. The level above that, you have a bunch of statues, and each side's carvings were done in separate eras, and like I said outside, it would take me a long time to cover them all in detail, like a crazy amount of time. Now, regarding Sean's Whirlpool Galaxy reference, I really have no clue why he brought it up other than an odd coincidence and a seemingly random bit of trivia he wanted to show off. But I've been rambling. And you'll see the inside we were just in is empty. It was being renovated this time or something. But yeah, it's quite pretty. And that, the Duomo. Once again, there is going to be a section on that. And we're going to be running around this area quite a bit later in the game, so you'll probably be seeing all sides of that in the future. Well, here goes nothing. Thank God for sturdy carts. Now, back to business. Yeah, it looks like leaves to me. But yeah, back to business. We have to find Duccio. And he's not too far away. That should make this very simple.
Another celso.
Uh-oh.
Duccio! It's beautiful!
Nothing but the best for you, amore mio.
But what of Claudia? I thought you'd been promised to her.
Father said I could do much better than an auditore.
Ah! Birbante! Come, let us walk a bit.
What? I had something else in mind.
Oh, Duccio!
Hey, lurido porco!
Ezio, my friend.
You insult my sister, parading around with this puttana.
Ezio, my friend. Ah! Ma che ti piglia?
You insult my sister, parading around with this puttana.
What are you talking about?
I saw the gift you gave her. Heard the things you said.
Maybe your sister shouldn't be so stingy with her virtue.
You broke her heart.
Ha! And now I'm going to break your face.
Ezio, quick! Steal his lady.
But when it comes
Aha!
time for action,
No, wait.
You regret.
Well, wrong guy.
I could have taught your sister a great many things. She's lucky to have had someone like me.
Bastardo!
Okay, enough about that. I was trying to throw his lady at him a few times. He's pretty sturdy. Very sturdy. But not sturdy enough to withstand crotch stomps. Or face stomps.
Perhaps we should try this again. When you've learned.
Ooh.
Basta, mi arrendo.
Stay away from my sister!
Okay, well, have a nice day. Actually, we're not done yet. I have plans for you, buddy. Just gotta... Dude, fall over. Time to show you guys a new gameplay mechanic if he doesn't want to cooperate. I did it on accident a few moments ago. Okay, no more screwing around. Tackle! Whoop, whoop. Let me try that again. Haha!
What's wrong with you?
Whoa! Whoopsie daisy. Now, for the plans. Let me just pick him up. I guess I can loot him too. No. No, I don't...
Careful.
Well, not only does it seem he is indestructible, but it seems I couldn't pick up his body. What I want to do with his body? Well, nothing particular. I just wanted to, throw it over the bridge. That's kind of what I do in this. But I guess that's over with, and you just saw me messing around with pickpocketing. There will be a formal mission on that later. But nobody really seems to care. Not really worth it, because you hardly get any florins. Uh-oh. Cart time.
Whatever is on his mind, it must be important.
I probably didn't mention it too much in the past, but you can see the arrows lighting up in red, and as it fills up with yellow, that means you have more attention. If it's all hollowed out, then, well, you're in the area and have line of sight, but there's nothing to be concerned about. Well, let's just see what our mother has planned, and... oh. There's another family member. This is his kid brother.
What are you doing out here, Petruccio? You should be in bed.
I want those feathers.
What for?
It's a secret.
If I get them for you, will you go back inside?
Yes, I promise.
My God, those eyes scare the piss out of me. So this is we have a bit of a timer here, but it's plenty of time. We have to go around and collect these feathers, and as you can tell, a lot of these early missions are just introducing gameplay mechanics overall. The last one unlocks side missions for brawling, and this unlocks feathers, which, well, they're the hidden package equivalent, I guess you could say. I'm going to be collecting them because you get stuff for finding them, unlike the first game. But I'm going to be doing it off camera or super sped up, so you won't have to sit through it. And it seems we have a viewpoint right here, but let's finish what we started first. We've got to return to Petruccio. I tripped over that word. We've got to return to Petruccio and give him all the feathers. And you'll see me in the future making a conscious effort to dodge them in the video because I want to be able to get them all at once and not wander around for several minutes before realizing, oh, I already grabbed that feather.
Here, as promised.
Grazie, brother.
You still haven't told me why you want these.
I will. In time.
And that's another family member knocked out. Now, for the mother. Now, watch Ezio's face in these cutscenes coming up. I've watched over it when I played the game initially, and I've watched through what I'm editing, and I never really get tired of them. And what the hell? I forgot. I forgot what I promised earlier. Gotta go knock out this viewpoint first. Just gotta get it. Something else I gotta point out while I'm over here. You see that haze off to the right? We'll get a better look at it in a second. Much like in the last Assassin's Creed where we had the blue fog that cut us off, we've got a white haze. It kind of ties into what seems to be a bit of a color scheme difference or mood difference between the first Animus and the second Animus. This is white and silver. The other one was that hazy blue and white. But we can't head over there quite yet. In the meantime, we've got to head back and take that mission with the mother that I was talking about previously. Hey, a hay bale! And men in dresses. And lots of brown. Oh, Jesus Christ, I'm getting flashbacks. Let's get out of here. But yes, let's just jump back over the mother, and like I was saying before I forgot about this, be sure to watch Ezio's face in the dialogue cutscene. And get ready to pause, of course.
Buongiorno, Ezio.
Buongiorno a voi, madre. Come state?
Sto bene. And you? Still recovering from last night?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Of course not. Anyway, I have an errand to run. I'd like you to join me.
Con piacere.
Come, it's not far from here. I know about your fight with Vieri.
What fight?
Per piacere. Let's not play this game.
He spoke ill of us. I could not allow him to continue.
I'm sure he's having a hard time dealing with the accusations against his father. Francesco di Pazzi is many things, and none of them good. But even I never suspected he'd be capable of murder.
What will happen to him?
I imagine there will be a trial.
Will father speak at it?
He'll have to. He's the one with the evidence.
Still, I wish there was another way.
You've nothing to fear. Everyone wants justice done. It is an unfortunate state of affairs, but it will pass.
And get ready to pause again, coming up here in a moment.
Here we are. Hello, Leonardo.
Madonna Maria.
This is my son, Ezio.
Molto onorato.
L'onore è mio.
Let me go and fetch the paintings. I'll be right back.
He's very talented.
Immagino.
Self-expression is vital to understanding and enjoying life. You should find an outlet.
I have plenty of outlets.
I meant besides vaginas.
Mother.
Back to your house, then.
Si, si. Ezio, help Leonardo, will you?
So, Ezio, what do you do?
He's been working for his father.
Ah, you're to be a banker.
For now. And you? Art, was it?
Truth be told, it's been difficult for me to settle. Painting is nice, but I often feel like my work lacks, I don't know, purpose. I'd rather contribute more practically, more directly. Architecture, perhaps, or anatomy. I'm not content merely to capture the world. I want to change it.
Oh, Leonardo. I have no doubt you'll go on to do great things.
Vi ringrazio, Madonna. That's kind of you.
Well, that's all they have to say there. So yeah, Leonardo da Vinci, probably one of the favorite characters in this game. We'll be seeing more of him in the future. And as for the purpose of this, it's just introducing us to Leonardo and I guess the tutorial of running while carrying heavy stuff. But it's already almost over, so before we part ways with him, I guess I'll pull up the database entry while he's still here. So, you know what that means. Get ready to pause the video. Oh, and you better believe he's going to have a history segment later on. But that's for another time.
Thank you for your help, son. Sounds like me from your attitude.
It's nice to meet you. I hope our paths cross again.
Anch'io.
And it seems we have another mission inside here with our old man. So, more errands.